This is big, scary Ontario independent pro wrestler Holden Albright, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and interviewing your favorite indie talent. And every Saturday and Wednesdays on YouTube and Castbox. I am your host, James J. With me tonight on time, Kaliko Yards.
I mean, that's like the Ja Rule song. I'm always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Murder. What up, y'all?
Somebody that's not on time, Mitch Mayhem, who's not here at the moment. And somebody that's always here, Scooter Dust.
McClunky.
Something tells me you don't even leave the chat when we're done with the show. You just keep it open for the whole duration of the week.
No, I close out Google Chrome because I have no use for it personally. But
It just sounds like he got his kids under control.
I do have to say though, my nephew, who is a Twitch streamer, gave our Wrestling with Entertainment interview with Masha Slamovich a big old plug last night on his stream.
Oh, awesome. We're making it big, aren't we? We're getting Twitch likes now.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out.
9 people heard it.
It's like coming to America. Right now, you're making shredding lettuce. Then you'll work the fries. Then you'll be the manager. And that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
It's Ryan Dust, correct?
Yes.
Shout out to Ryan Dust. And it's a great day for wrestling. And a great day for Brandi Rhodes, as unfortunately she got injured. The same injury that plagued Becky Lynch and Renee Young. She is indeed
feminist. Please don't kill us.
She is indeed pregnant with Cody Rhodes' child that we are aware of. Congratulations. Anybody wants to make any comments about that?
I would give them parenting advice, but they are well above an economic class that their experience will be totally different than mine. So congratulations to them.
Now, is it possible that Shaq could be the father?
Ooh.
That would be some Jerry shit.
But, talking about Brandi Rhodes, it seemed like she was maybe starting a rivalry with Jade. I can't remember her last name. And it seemed like they were going into a rivalry before, she got injured. So, do you think it's maybe never the right time for Brandi to, get in the ring? Scooter?
It's very hard to say. I mean, I'm not sure if at this point we can officially declare Brandi Rhodes to be one of those infamous, wrestling jinxes, so to speak.
Right.
But a jinx unto herself, really.
I wouldn't necessarily say jinx, but I would say, every time she kind of jumps off the ground, she never stays in the air for too long. If that's a good analogy or no.
Yeah, that's probably a better analogy. I wouldn't say it's bad luck or bad timing. I always just got the feeling that Brandi Rhodes was in a bit of a hurry to get what she was doing over with the crowd.
Which never
And
necessarily worked.
if one thing didn't work, she immediately went to something else. The following, like with the Nightmare, was it the Nightmare Coalition or whatever?
I thought it was Syndicate.
God, who knows at this?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it being there, and then the next week it just wasn't.
Right. Same
So-
could be said about Awesome Kong. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, that just sounds like a bunch of ideas that just were trying to stick to the wall, per se. Granted, it, granted, her latest outing kind of got her in some heat with with Black Twitter because of the way how she presents herself in real life is a little different than how she was trying to present herself with the whole coding issue. There was that, pun intended, coding. Hey, but anyways, but I to me she seems sweet, so it's not like she's trying. You can tell she like loves the business. It's just nothing is sticking with her, and she's just trying any and everything to entertain people. So I mean, that's the best she could. That's the best idea she could do. Maybe her having time off with being pregnant can actually, get people to miss her. So when she comes back, it's a little bit better. And then they'll forget all about that. We forget shit after 2 weeks. So 9 months would feel like 20 years.
And something we're probably gonna forget in 2 weeks as well. AEW hits ratings high and Raw hits ratings low. At this point, does ratings even matter at this point, Scooter? But AEW is definitely going to toot their own horn about it.
I would think ratings now matter more than ever with more TV being watched in record numbers. I mean, it's so much to the point where USA wants essentially Monday Night Raw retooled.
But that's not really their call to make, is it?
Ooh, that depends on the point of view. I mean, that's an interesting topic to peruse. How much influence can a network have on the content that it airs, especially when that programming is live? At this point, I would see Vince doesn't have the power that he used to, where he can't say, "Oh, I'll take Raw somewhere else," because essentially, remember they've got shows on the networks of two of the biggest companies in the world, the two biggest companies.
Right.
Fox with Disney and USA with Universal, and Viacom and whatnot. So, if Vince were to, not give in to USA and say, "Oh, I'm going to take my ball and go elsewhere," the USA would call him on his bluff and say, "Okay, go."
Because they're not getting the traction that they used to get.
USA would be just as happy and probably even have higher ratings if they put another Dick Wolf show on Monday night, in syndication.
That is not wrong. But let's go on the opposite end of that spectrum. AEW, they're hitting ratings high. It's not exactly WCW in '98, but they seem to be happy with it. Should they be happy with it, or do you think that maybe they should maybe aim a little higher?
It's
That's a good question.
Kaliko, you want to answer?
I'll say it this way. Yes, they should be happy, but the problem is it's always with the follow through. And to me, like going back to Raw, yes, they need to retool and improve. But to me, from what I've been seeing, TV on a whole, like ratings on a whole, has been low. Like the NBA Finals had the Los Angeles fucking Lakers, which is like one of the most known teams in the NBA, and they had a ratings low. So that tells you, like, to me, live sports is missing that crowd element because that is what makes people want to tune in. Like, as much as people want to see the action on the court, it's also hearing those oohs and ahs on a good ass play or a good ass block, and everyone's hurting on that except maybe NFL, but NFL in itself is a betting machine more so than actual sports. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I not saying that they don't need to retool because they do need to improve, considering that they're pretty much the wrestling gig in town, and they need to do something about that. But TV as a whole, honestly, like, to me, honestly, it's like a bunch of people streaming shit, and that to me is going to be the future now because everyone is HBO Max and even NBC is going into streaming, and I wouldn't be surprised TNT is going into streaming. Everybody's trying to do the streaming game now because now they know people. It's easier to get people to pay on a subscription and forget it than to try to get it through the cable people.
Yeah, that's the other thing, and Khalil becomes a very good point. Is that these are Nielsen ratings we're talking about, and at this point, the Nielsen ratings are such a they're a minority now in the in the world of entertainment that, again, these ratings don't take into account streaming, YouTube,
on demand, YouTube clips, Twitter mentions, Instagram
DVR,
mentions. Yep.
Plus, also, AEW airs the episode again.
That's correct, they do.
At 11 o'clock.
Yep.
That Eastern time. So are we
for the West Coast people?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have YouTube TV. Prime example, just for that. Sorry to interrupt, but I have YouTube TV, and YouTube TV doesn't play AEW at its live time. It plays it on its actual slated time on the West Coast. And to me, AEW's biggest test is going to be this coming Wednesday because they have the NBA, the opening day of the NBA. So to me, that should automatically get people to stay. So that's where I think their biggest test will be.
But yeah, on that issue of retooling, USA wants more adult content, not sexy adult, but they want dark and violent. And we
USA
actually
or TNT?
USA.
USA. Oh damn.
Well, TNT to me, it's iffy because they've been like, oh yeah, we're adult, but they don't let them. They try to mute out shit after Kazarian already said it, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
but we could be looking at essentially a WCW like reboot come the Royal Rumble.
Well, you said dark or edgier TV. That kind of sounds like a reboot of the Attitude Era.
It, rumor around Stanford is that they're hoping the 2021 Royal Rumble will serve essentially as a big reset for the company.
And that makes sense because the Royal Rumble is probably they're two bigger casual viewers would come in from Royal Rumble to Mania.
Right.
So that makes sense from that standpoint. And plus, I think the thing that's in now is the dark and violent drama. Like when you see a lot of these shows that are getting rave from reviews from like Prime, and that's not even including Amazon Prime. Jesus Christ! But like all these different shows that are on Netflix and Prime, but they're all adult oriented and they're all relatable to the person, to the viewer. You see what I'm saying? Where the person could actually relate it and it doesn't seem like their intelligence is getting insulted. And that's where I think WWE dropped the ball because they kind of look at it from the Twitter game, which I get because the Twitter YouTube game is like short clips where people really won't remember it unless it really, really stands out. But to the core audience, that's where they're losing that battle. So they're serving one to by losing the other.
We've been talking about WWE and AEW at the moment. But Impact Wrestling last week had like a major spike in ratings because Kenny Omega, and all of us said we watched Impact Wrestling for the first time ever live in God knows how long. This week, it went down again, and that's kind of like what we've been talking about. Impact Wrestling doesn't really know how to maintain the the was the word the momentum that AEW gave them that one week. Correct?
Well, it doesn't help. Tony Schiavone was talking shit about it went from one person to six. So yeah, it doesn't help. But I mean, but Impact's been one of those things where it's just been on. I feel like it's been on the deathbed for 15 years, and it just don't want to go nowhere.
Do you want to go away? I like Impact.
I mean, to me with Impact, I never fault the wrestler on Impact. I always fault the people who put them in the position to get them the exposure that they should get. If that makes sense. I always put it on management. Like when Impact was fucking up, TNA, when it was TNA and it was fucking up, I never threw it on the wrestlers. I always threw it on Dixie Carter because I'm like, yo, your job is to get these people exposed to an audience bigger than the core base. And wrestlers can only, even though WWE wrestlers do that a lot through their social media, but they're a big machine. When it comes to something like Impact, I feel like those wrestlers got to work 10 times as hard just to get, to get just to get the relationship with those people out who are not people who don't watch it, who don't know what channel. There's people trying to figure out what the fuck channel Impact was on for Kenny Omega. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
That is a problem.
Yes.
And that is on the company. That is not it's on the wrestler to a fault, but that is on the company not doing their job and making sure that their product reaches out to a maximum audience.
Shooter, you want to add to that?
I mean, yeah, we've been to this, time and time again, that even with, essentially the reunion of,
Bullet
the
Club.
biggest stable of wrestling history. I wasn't looking for the name; I was looking for a descriptor. And yeah, the fact that we got an announcement that Kenny Omega will be competing on a Impact pay-per-view for the first time in a 6-man tag with Gallows and Anderson against Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. What does that remind you of?
That this could have been New Japan versus Impact Wrestling rather than AEW versus Impact Wrestling?
Nope. 1996, July.
Ah,
Somebody is gonna turn on Impact. I will say this. I do think Impact is gonna see a bit of a rise in their pay-per-view numbers.
oh, without a doubt.
Uh, but they gotta get accurate measurements from all platforms.
Right.
And that being said, I'm not exactly sure if that 6-man tag main event was even necessarily a good idea. Like, immediately. I mean, yeah, they could be. They're most likely testing the waters for a Omega Swan.
Yeah.
Down the line. Um, but most likely either somebody's turning on Impact or somebody from AEW's coming to help Impact.
Could be Moxley. I mean, he might be back by the time that pay preview takes place.
I think it's gotta be Hangman.
That would suck.
I mean,
I mean,
again at the end of this, I said it's gotta be Hangman as the one who steps up to be AEW's hero.
and I mean, it should be him. I mean, Kenny Omega is the New Japan guy. John Moxley's the WWE guy. Hangman Page is kind of the AEW guy, no?
Yeah, I mean, with no disrespect to Hangman's work in Japan, he is the one of the. He's one of the few guys that I think we can honestly say AEW has established as their own.
Yes.
So, but again, ratings at this point are fickle, and quite honestly, we're at a point where they're not going to matter.
I think we're already at that point.
Yeah, we've been at that point. Considering that Universal then came out with like Peacock for all of their new and original content. That kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's where I feel like the future is all going to be all digital and streaming, and all these companies like Disney done literally like bundled ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus for like $12.
Yep.
So for $12 you get 3 of the biggest platforms as far as streaming and on-demand content.
And
That's and not even including that Verizon is literally giving that shit away for free just for fucking being a member.
the one
So
thing,
that tells you the money is going to. They see where the money is going.
and on that Impact Wrestling episode, Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone made an appearance again. Tony Khan, great antagonizer. Do you think maybe we could possibly see a Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone versus Don Callis and the other uh the other announcer on Impact, like a
Who,
tag
Josh
team match?
Matthews?
Josh Matthews, thank you.
No, because Callis hates Matthews, so.
I hope not. Jesus Christ, man! Like Tony
I mean-
Schiavone, no. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tony Schiavone, UGA guy, but nah, bruh.
Alright, let's make it a singles match. Tony Khan versus Don Callis. Could we see this match
Even-
happen?
Hell no.
Only if Callis at one point in the match stops and goes, Khan!
And then Great O'Khan comes out. Boom. There we go.
Boom.
We're
There it
making fantasy bookings here.
Yep, Vulcan grip. Let's get it.
One last thing I wanted to touch on. Charlie Haas resurfaces after many years away from the ring. I'm sure you saw it, Scooter. That was quite interesting, wasn't it?
I couldn't hear
Charlie Haas resurfacing after many years away from the wrestling business.
I had not heard about that.
Oh my God, really? Well, yeah, he they showed him and he looked not in the best condition. He said he was physically fine and I want to say physically fit. He felt good, but he didn't look good, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
Kalika,
of course, still married to Jackie Gata.
I mean, stuff like that I take with a grain of salt because everybody was just talking about how fat James Harden was fucking 2 days ago. and and everybody's just like, oh my God, he's this fat motherfucker. And it's just like, you know what? Like, no one knows what's going on except for him. And if he says he's fine, he's fine. I'm not going to go too deep into people's appearances and shit. Like it's...
Oh my God. He looked sickly.
Damn, right when I say that. God damn it to hell.
He looks like Val Venus now. Like Val Venus now. Not like Val Venus
then
now. But Val Venus.
But forever.
Forever.
Yep. I see Perk Angle.
Perk Angle. No. Oh, we'll see, man. Let that man live, man. Let him live.
I guarantee if you put a picture of Charlie Haas now with a picture of him from 2003,
yeah, everybody be like, what the fuck? I get it. Yeah. I totally get that shit. But I think in my lifetime, I've only seen one person age gracefully as hell, and that was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, God,
That's the only motherfucker. That's the only person I know who still looks the same from fucking 1988. So that's why I'm like, I think that shit with a grain of salt. Maybe him and Pharrell, because I swear they got like vampire blood or some shit. I don't know.
we'll conclude our news. Once again, I forgot to mention it at the top of the show. We did do the Masha Slamovic interview last week. An incredible interview with an incredible talent. We wish nothing but the best for her, and we would love to talk to her once again. No, Scooter?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully I won't have to stay until 5 a.m.
This upcoming Wednesday, we got Jack Stevens coming up, and the interview that no Wrestling with Entertainment fan wants to miss. Incredible stories that you did not see coming. And we want to do next Wednesday, the Wednesday after that, I believe it's the 30th, a little bit of a best of our interviews, the best of the 8 questions of doom, as we have dubbed it. So we hope to bring that to you as well. And who knows? The new year's coming up. New wrestlers, new opportunities. The sky's the limit for Wrestling with Entertainment. No, Scooter?
Absolutely. And I've got a little bit of a hidden project. Oh, I'm not going to keep it hidden anymore, but something I've been toying with, and hopefully I can have some sort of beta within the next couple of months. But a Wrestling with Entertainment soundboard.
Ooh. You mean I could do this show alone with sound bites?
I mean, all we need is pay preview, and you'll be good.
Oh, fuck you!
I got the idea from our interview with Holden Albright, where he said she hit me in the dick, and I just kept on playing it over and over and over, and I'm like, yeah, we gotta get clips of these. We gotta get these little
Sound bites. Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well, let's see what that goes.
Maybe we'll get Mitch. Excuse me, I didn't hear that.
Either that or crickets.
This is also the last episode of the preview and review format of the year. Next week, next Saturday, we have a very special edition of Wrestling with Entertainment, Wrestling with Trivia. And me, Scooter, and Mitch will compete on a game show format, with Kaliko giving us wrestling trivia about WWE. And that should be really fun, super competitive, me and Scooter are. So I can't imagine we're not going to try and kill each other on that show.
Let's hope not. I mean, hey, I'll try my best to make these questions, as difficult as they seem. But granted, I keep telling people it's based on a game where the history stops right around 2012, 2013. So if you think from the golden era till about, I'd say SummerSlam 2012, because it didn't even include Summers like 2013, which is literally like CM Punk versus Brock and all them. So it didn't include that year. So basically from the beginning of WWE up until 2012.
I mean, anything after that would be, super easy because, it was more current, it was more it's fresher in our minds. So I prefer that.
Man, considering these last couple years, some people might want to forget.
Exactly.
On a little bit of a more serious note, for those of you who don't know, if you don't know by now, you should. James and I are huge Star Wars fans, and we have lost one of our most iconic actors
Oh
in the
yeah.
That's
Star
right.
Wars universe, Jeremy Bulloch.
That's right.
You know better as the
O
man
O
under Boba Fett.
OG Boba Fett.
Uh,
That's the perfect
yeah,
analogy. OG Boba Fett.
passed away at the age of 75.
And just when they reincarnated his character. I mean, it really
Yep.
sucks.
Yeah, one of the like biggest like socially interactive shows on
I
of
mean,
2020.
that was, we still have a couple more days of this year, and this really sucks. So hopefully that's it.
I
God
mean,
willing.
I don't know.
Let's
I don't know if you guys have seen the WWE commercial where they actually personify 2020 as this talking, dripping ooze monster, like a larger, taller version of the Mucinex booger,
mhm.
Yeah. No, I didn't
and
see that.
it comes out and basically takes the place of whoever's in the ring with someone throughout the commercial. Like Drew McIntyre, 2020 gets Claymore kicked. Nia Jax puts 2020 to a garbage can. 2020 gets attacked by the Fiend. Uh,
Yeah.
and then 2021 comes out, kind of looking like a cross between uh, Buzz Lightyear uh, and Playmobil. And
Because we're going to infinity and beyond.
Pretty much.
I don't know who was responsible for that, but it's an interesting analysis.
And on the 2nd of January, we have a Royal Rumble watch along for 2-year anniversary. So we got that coming up, and then on January 9th, we are back live and in living color, as some would say.
In living
Y-
color.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a lot of shit to catch up on because you got what TLC, damn,
Wrestle King.
Wrestle Kingdom,
Yep.
which is hopefully Jay White's year. Which I must admit, you sent me that survey and I filled it out. I was like, yo, this is fucking. Some of them were no brainers, but some of them were fucking hard. Like Jesus.
And a quick shout out about that survey, the wrestling community podcast. All those results of that survey will be released on their show. So we're talking a lot of shit tonight.
I know.
And as you said, Wrestle Kingdom's coming up, so we're not going to be here before the show, so let's preview the motherfucker right now.